Hi everyone, this is Annie Rind, and you're listening to the 1001 Business Problems Solved with Microsoft Teams podcast. Before we get into today's topic, I want to start with something many of you have probably picked up on already. Over the last several months, I've talked a lot more about Copilot than I have Teams. In fact, we've even found ourselves wondering whether Copilot should replace Teams in the podcast name because more and more of the problem-solving conversation now starts with Microsoft Copilot. That shift does not mean Teams matters less. If anything, Teams matters even more than it did before. It's just that for many leaders and knowledge workers, it is no longer the first doorway they walk through. Copilot is quickly becoming the place people go first when they need to think, when they need to sort through noise, or just start making sense of what's going on. But for Copilot to be genuinely useful, there has to be something solid underneath it. Teams is still the hub, and in many ways the glue that helps hold the rest of Microsoft 365 together. It is where structure happens, where information stays connected, and where Copilot has the best chance of delivering you the most value. So even if Copilot has taken more of the spotlight lately, Teams is still the place where the work happens. It's where the conversations happen and where people continue to live when working on their computers and smart devices. I just brought this up at this time because I don't want you to be completely surprised when the podcast name changes in the near future. Now, on to today's topic. Lately, not only have we spent a lot of time in Copilot, but we've spent a lot of time on Copilot Pages. You've noticed that anytime we're working on strategy or planning a course of action, we almost always create one or more Copilot pages from our discussions with Copilot. While pages are awesome, we discovered a real problem after a few months of creating those pages. There is so much goodness there, pages full of awesome ideas and planned actions, that we began feeling overwhelmed again. Maybe you're there already, but I guarantee that if you lean on pages for structuring your thinking, you'll get there eventually. How can there be overwhelm if Copilot is so good? Well, because there are so many pages with so much great thinking summarized within them that we started noticing good stuff getting pushed farther and farther down the list. While Copilot pages are awesome, they don't come with a good way to organize them. That creates a real problem. Pages can slowly disappear into that long scrolling list. Worse yet, we had done so much good thinking with Copilot, we found we often forgot that we had already solved a problem or made a decision. All of that led to either spending a lot of time looking for a page we knew existed, or forgetting that we had already done that thinking. It's really just a case of too much of a good thing. That is, unless you find a way to organize and catalog those pages, with quick links to them for reference. I'm hoping Microsoft realizes this problem and develops a seamless solution in the near future. I thought they were going there with Copilot notebooks, but then Microsoft yanked those away from us a couple weeks ago. So, what do you do about that? And since this is what we do every week, I thought I'd share the solution we came up with by supplementing our own Microsoft knowledge with Copilot. We haven't used OneNote around here much, not because it's not a good tool, but because we've always used other apps such as SharePoint to stay organized. If you're not familiar with OneNote, it's a reasonably intuitive way to keep all your thoughts organized. It's simple enough that we thought it might be a good way to organize our Copilot pages. Now, we could have done a web search, found out if other people use OneNote in that manner, if it would even work, etc. But since we now use Copilot as our front door into almost anything we do, we simply used a prompt similar to this. Copilot, we need a way to organize and catalog our Copilot pages because we're finding out that we cannot easily keep track of them. And we're often forgetting we even have them. We're thinking of using OneNote and pasting the links to the pages into OneNote sections and pages by topic. Is that the best way to do this? Copilot came back and basically said yes, OneNote would be a great way to do it, and because it knew what we had been working on, it did not stop there. It gave us a setup based on our actual pages, suggested sections and pages, and even warned us where people usually get themselves into trouble trying to do this. That let us move forward without turning the whole thing into another thinking project. Copilot did more than point us to a tool because it helped us use it in the most strategic way and saved us from a few mistakes we probably would have made on our own. While we still had to build the sections and pages and manually paste the links to the Copilot pages, Copilot saved us the heavy thinking and research we would have had to otherwise do. So, there's really two lessons here today. First, if you feel that you're losing control of all the goodness you and Copilot come up with, using OneNote is a good way to stay organized. Second, don't forget to ask Copilot anytime you are beginning a new task or thinking project. I think that second point may even be more important than the first, because to become really good at Copilot, you have to get used to involving it in most of your work. And to get used to involving it in most of your work, you have to get into the habit of asking before every task, how can Copilot help me do this? Copilot can't help you if you don't ask it. Anyway, that's it for today. Please come back next Monday, and if you have a second, click us a rating with a lot of stars on it. That helps us rise up the search charts and help more people. Unless, of course, you want to keep this podcast for yourself, but that's selfish, and I'm pretty sure that's not you. Have a great week. This is Annie signing off.